Hey everyone, this is Rod again. Hope you're all doing well. Today I want to talk to you about an important subject, which is about the cavalry is not going to come save you. I first experienced this a few years ago when I was in this situation with, I call this person a narcissist, a very dangerous person to me. Affected my self-worth, my confidence, practically destroyed my career, sabotaged me in my career, just did whatever they could to hurt me, just didn't care. And while I was going through that situation, I was looking for others to help me, whether it was co-workers, other managers, human resources, mentors. And at that time, I just couldn't get anybody to help me. And this person just pulverized me. I was just helpless, at least I thought I was, helpless. And I learned two lessons. And one of the lessons, and I actually first came across this in a book I read from Chris Gardner, which is called Start Where You Are. And he had talked about the cavalry is not going to come save you. And that was my first mistake. I had made two mistakes. First mistake is I'm expecting others to jump in and help me. That was my first mistake, because people aren't going to help you. Second mistake I made is that I didn't fight for myself. That was an opportunity for me to fight for myself, and I didn't do it. For whatever reason, I didn't do it. I was afraid, whatever it was, I just didn't do it. So I learned that lesson, but I became stronger from it and from that experience. So much so that not only did I forgive myself for that experience, but I forgave that person who hurt me in such a way from that experience. I even see that person from time to time. And when I see that person, I walk right up to that person. I don't hide. I have no animosity for that person. And I start talking to this person. And we talk about small stuff like their family. We talk about my family. We just talk as if nothing happened. But the thing is, when I walk up to this person, I have a sense of gratitude. Because this person, the way they treated me, taught me the most powerful lesson of my life, which I'm going to share with you right now. So when you get into a situation with people underestimate people, especially us minorities. Sometimes there's a small group of people that will underestimate minorities, and you become a target. And what happens when you become a target, when you're minorities, particularly in the workplace, you want people to help you. You're looking for help because the things that people do to us are so unjust sometimes in the workplace that we're looking for help, but they're not going to help you. And this is my point to you. You got to recognize at that moment that you're not going to get help. It's not a bad thing. It's not even a good thing. It's just that once you recognize that you're not going to get help, it's empowering. You just empowered yourself. You empowered yourself to act. The reason why I didn't act before, when I was being pulverized by this narcissist, is because I'm expecting somebody else to step in and I didn't empower myself. But you have to empower yourself. It's like, okay, we're gonna fight. What's interesting about myself and a lot of you out there is that if you're on the street and somebody physically attacks you, you're gonna defend yourself. You're not gonna ask questions, you're just gonna do it. But in the workplace, in the same situation when someone attacks you, we don't do anything, we just sit there. You know, we're waiting for somebody else to help. People just aren't going to help you. Can't say that enough. So when somebody attacks you, you've got to face them. Basically, they're inviting you to the ring, the boxing ring, the octagon, whatever it is, they're inviting you to the ring. You can't hide from that. You can't run from that. You step into the ring with them, face to face. An interesting note is that not only people are not going to help you, but people are not necessarily going to help them either. They're not going to come to their aid either. So it's just you and this person. It feels like it's you and everybody else. It's not. It's you and this person. So you got to fight. A lot of things that people will say to me is that you don't have confidence. This is their punch to me. I find that people, particularly with minorities, they really only have two punches. You know, you don't have confidence. They undermine your self-worth and they exclude you. Those are the two punches. That's all they do. Could you imagine you're a fighter in the ring or you're in the octagon and you're fighting with somebody who only has two punches? I mean, that's an easy fix. You can defend yourself easily against somebody who has two punches. So anyway, here's how it goes. Somebody says to me, you just don't have confidence. You don't have confidence in what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. That's a punch to me, right? How I block it is I defend it. I deny it. I say it's not true. It's a block. It's not true. They say you don't have confidence, a punch, I block it, it's not true. That's all you do. Now how I punch back is I ask a question. I said, give me an example when you felt I didn't have confidence in what I was doing. That's a punch back. Whenever you ask a question towards them, it's a punch back. If you say something about their character, or if you say something about them, something they've done to you or how they made you feel, it's another punch. A lot of times when you get into these situations with people, they're not expecting you to punch back, right? So sometimes people will exclude you. That's a favorite thing to do, to exclude you. Pretend like you don't exist, pretend like you're not talking. I've been in meetings where folks tried to exclude me. That's a punch to me. It's a one punch, that's all it is. So what I do is I interrupt them. When I interrupt them, it's a block. I interrupt them and I speak again. I speak louder. I speak clearer. I acknowledge it. I may even put them on the spot. I say, I'm talking right now. You just interrupted me. It's a punch back. And then, like I said, they're not expecting it. But this is how you have to defend yourself. Because what we do is, someone says to us, you don't have confidence in yourself. You know what we do? We're like, I don't know about that. Oh, okay. We don't say anything. We don't block it. We don't fight back. The point is, you got to fight back. And when you fight back, they're not expecting it. And then you keep fighting back. Every comment, you keep fighting back. They say you're not doing your job well. That's a punch to you. You block it and say, that's not true. I disagree with that. That's your block. You punch back and you say, ask a question. Now, give me a specific example when I wasn't doing my job. Narrow it down to me. Most of the time they can't. So you got the punch off, right? And then if you want to go further, you can say that you're making, I feel that your accusations are a little bit biased, or this is how you make me feel, or this is how you're affecting myself or the group. It's another punch. So anytime you speak back, it's a punch. And that's how you handle it. And you just keep doing it that way. And you keep blocking and you're doing it that way. One thing to note though, is that when you're in these situations, sometimes you're going to knock them against the ropes. They're going to be defenseless, or they're going to be on the ground defenseless. And what that means is, often when I get in these situations, I find that people shut down. When I start asking the questions, I start punching back, people shut down. And it's in those situations, if you're sincere, it's in those situations, you don't want to continue punching them. You don't want to do that to them. What you want to do, and like I said, if you're sincere, if you're not sincere, don't do this. You want to reach out and help this person off the ropes, or help this person off the ground. So what you'll say is, you'll say something like, look, we don't have to like each other. I know we don't like each other. We don't have to like each other, but I do respect you. And I think that you and I can get along and do better for our team or for our company. Something like that. And what that does, reconnects you with this person so that you can have a working relationship with. Because I find that a lot of people that I work with, a lot of people that I get into these conflicts with, I still have to maintain a relationship and work with them. If you polarize them, go for the knockout, just try to hurt them, even when they're leaning against the ropes, even when they've given up and they don't want to fight you anymore, two things will happen. One, you become them. You got this anger and this hostility and this hate, you become them. You don't want to become them. You want to stay true to yourself. But the second thing that will happen, and my dad taught me this, is that when people want revenge for you, after you, because they're going to want revenge on you. And what they'll do is they'll cut their own throat so they can bleed on your shoes. They'll hurt themselves so they can bleed on your shoes. That's how bad they're going to want you. And there's going to be a time you're going to slip up and they're going to go after you. So you want to try to eliminate that. You don't have to be friends. It's not about friends, but you have this mutual respect for one another. You can still do that and work together or get along, whatever the situation is. Two more things I want to tell you. You got to always be prepared for these battles. So what this means is sometimes you'll win, sometimes you'll lose, but you'll learn and you grow from it. Like I did with the narcissist. The narcissist kicked my ass. But once I got up, I learned from it, I grew from it. It helped me be less fearful. It helped me to stand up for myself, helped me to see what my situation is. One of the things you want to do is you want to prepare yourself for a battle that could happen. So that means you got to be your best employee. If you're an employee, you got to be your best self. That means you show up on time or early. You put your best self into your job. You don't just have to. You put everything you have into the job. You help other people, your coworkers, managers, whatever it is. You help them. You build relationships with people. All the people, as many people as you can. You build some sort of relationship with them. Not a superficial relationship, but you build a relationship with them. You build relationships with your boss. These are things you do in a genuine relationship with your boss, not superficial, because these folks are going to be your resources. They're not going to come help you. I mentioned that before, but they're not going to come after you when you get into a conflict with someone. So you're not going to get fired. You're not going to lose your job. You're not going to get reprimanded because you've got this basis. People know who you are. When people go after and try to destroy your reputation, you can still savor your reputation because people are seeing and know who you are. So that's one thing you do that's pretty important. The last thing I want you to know, and this is my finale, is that when you fight, when you choose to fight, you're not doing it to change them. It's not about changing this other person. You're fighting so as to set standards and boundaries. You're teaching people how to treat you. You're giving yourself peace of mind. This is why you're doing it. So don't worry about it if you convince them, if you change them. You don't care about that. You're doing it so that you can teach people how to treat you. You're doing it to empower yourself. Can you imagine what kind of person you'll be if you work in a situation or you're going through your life and you're standing up for yourself and you're having a battle after another, hopefully not too many, but you're having these battles and you're disempowered from it. You don't feel like a victim anymore. Can you imagine what kind of father would you be if you felt so empowered that somebody comes after you and you know how to defend yourself against them? What kind of husband would you be? You know what I mean? What kind of person, what kind of citizen would you be? How would you feel about your life? That's what it's about.